110% is liquidation. The 10% effectively goes to the liquidity providers for stability. I'm sorry, stability providers in terms of if somebody has a loan out for $1,000 and they've got $1,100 of Pulse backing it. At that, or $1,101, right, of Pulse, that drops down. Now they're going to be liquidated. That margin on top of the 100% goes to the stability pool in the form of burning the USDL equivalent amount in their portfolio or whatever the pool there, and they get a little 10% extra of Pulse distributed to them. Is correct?
Yep.
So your people's positions
as a community, right? As thousands of people. So your account will increase in value just an ever slightly amount. You know, if it was only a $2,000 loan and that $2,000 worth of Pulse was spread across like 5,000 people, like everybody just gets a little tiny bump because it's spread, you know?
So in the stability pool, your position is going to go down over time, right? If there's volatility.
Your position of USDL will decrease in quantity as you're accumulating Pulse that's worth more than the USDL was, right? So if Pulse is bullish long run, like you could actually be well, first off, if Pulse is bullish,
nobody's getting
liquidated.
Yeah.
Right. Just understand.
But if there's a wick down or something.
Think of it this way. You're putting USDL in and just parking it for the ability to be able to purchase a loan in a discount, at a discounted price, in a market dip. You will never find a better price for Pulse at that moment in time. Yes. Like you can't go to a DEX and get it for a better price because you're getting a 10% discount. Like by being
so question on this. So we have that presents other things that somebody could hypothetically do, right? So I could buy USDL, skip the loan portion, take the USDL and add it to the stability pool.
Yes.
As a way to discount my Pulse acquisition over time.
Correct.
Interesting. That's cool.
Now, because liquidations don't happen all the time, there's further incentives for people to be stability depositors. Those are called the loan tokens.
Oh, yes. Good. Right. Perfect time.
Now, there's a handful of ways to have loan tokens. You can go buy it off of DEX. Okay. You could have been in a specific address set. Okay. That time period has passed. Okay. So the third way to acquire these tokens would be to be a stability depositor. And these tokens are emitted or rewarded to stability depositors because there's not liquidations that are happening all the time. So you still got to incentivize people to be in there in case there's a liquidation. So you just pay out from a pool. You pay out from a reward pool of loan tokens. You pay to all the stability depositors proportionally across all of them at an ever decreasing rate. So it halves every single year. The rate of emission to these people gets cut in half, and it becomes harder and harder and harder over time to get your hands on the loan tokens. And because more participants are always coming in, everyone's always constantly diluting each other. So it literally becomes super hard to get your hands on loan tokens over a period of time.
Do you, and I obviously I don't want you to say your expectations, but what is the thought process around, do you think there's actually going to be any liquidity around the loan token to be able to acquire that? Because that might be an interesting strategy too, to skip Pulse loaning, skip USDL and purchase the loan token by itself. Do you think do you think there'll be enough people selling where there'll actually be an opportunity to buy some? Because that could be a very interesting strategy for
see, what's interesting is you don't have to sell loan token. The whole idea of the loan token is it's your ticket in to collect the fees. Because that third pool you were talking about, that's called the staking pool. That's where you stake these and you collect the fees from the loans and the fees from the redemptions. So theoretically, you could see a scenario where just nobody creates a liquidity pool for loan token. and it's literally just not traded, or it's just got super thin liquidity.
Okay.
And
that's what I was thinking.
Maybe the price moons or something, right? Because everybody wants to get their hands on them to be a fee collector. Early on, you can get your hands on the most of them. Over time, it just becomes harder and harder and harder to get a good quantity of these things. So early participants will always be the biggest fee collectors.